buckle up, because today we are ditching the boring real world for a bit
Sounds fun to me.
and heading straight back to high school.
You know, I can never resist a good trip back to those hallways filled with lockers.
Exactly. Well, the cinematic version, at least. Yeah.
Ah, gotcha, where the drama's even bigger.
Amplified?
Yeah, amplified. The fashion choices are
Let's just say questionable.
questionable, yeah.
And where they, like,
And everyone just randomly bursts into song.
of course, naturally.
That's right, we're doing a deep dive today on the 2024 Mean Girls movie musical,
I am so ready for this.
based on a review we found on Pasted Text. And so, whether you're a huge fan of the original movie,
Huge fan.
or you're curious about like the whole musical thing.
Yeah, how do they do that right? Stage to screen?
Yeah, or if you just love a really good, fun teen flick.
Teen flicks never get old.
No, they don't.
Never.
We got some insights, some fun insights for you.
All right, let's dive in. So let's start with kind of the big picture. When they take a stage musical like this and try to bring it back to the screen,
Right.
it must be a pretty big challenge, right?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not just a simple scene-for-scene remake, you know?
I imagine.
It's like they're trying to distill the essence of what made the stage production work so well,
Ah.
but then figure out how to make that translate to the totally different world of, cinema.
Right. Because, like, the energy is so different.
Completely different.
Right. So, okay, so picture this. We are all back at good old North Shore High.
Oh, the stomping grounds.
But this time around, there are jazz hands.
Love it.
Katie Heron is back. She's fresh from Africa.
Right.
She's still totally clueless about, like, the American teenage world.
Still finding her way.
Yeah, and she stumbles straight into the jungle that is the high school hierarchy.
The social food chain.
Oh, yeah.
It's brutal out there.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It never ends.
Never ends.
High school, college, the workplace, you name it. There's always a hierarchy,
And so, for the most part, they really kept a lot of the main plot points.
which I think is smart, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with the classic too much.
Uh-huh.
It's like, they kept her getting tangled up with the plastics. That whole fetch thing is still there.
They tried to make fetch happen.
They did, and, we all know how that goes.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. But the fact that they stuck with those original elements,
All right.
it really says something, doesn't it? Like, they're acknowledging that those themes of social dynamics and, self-discovery,
Right.
that's timeless. Like, we all go through that.
It is.
No matter what generation you're from.
And it's almost more intense in high school.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a pressure cooker
It is.
of hormones and social anxiety and, trying to figure out who you are.
Right, exactly. But they did do one interesting thing. They've got a new caddy this time. It's Angry Rice.
She's got some big shoes to fill.
I was going to say, following Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. It's a tough act to follow, but I think she's got the talent to pull it off.
Okay, that's good to know.
The real buzz, though,
Hillary.
is about Renee Rapp. She's back playing Regina George again.
Hold on. So the girl who played it on Broadway
Mm-hmm.
is playing it in the movie.
Yeah, reprising her role. That's a big deal.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
She was amazing on Broadway, and talk about, like, just completely owning a role.
That's exactly what it is. She just embodies Regina George.
Yeah.
And bringing her back like that, it
Mhm.
creates this really cool connection between the stage and the screen versions. It's like
Uh-huh.
a wink to the fans of the musical,
Right.
But it also, I think, adds this whole other layer of depth to Regina's character.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting.
You're getting, like, the full package, Regina George, Broadway, and Hollywood.
Right. It's like the ultimate version.
Exactly. The ultimate mean girl.
Now, I'm super curious about the music because you know how much I love a good movie musical.
Oh, yeah, you're all about the music.
All about the music.
So did they stick with the stage production soundtrack?
Yeah. Or did they throw in some, like, new wild stuff?
They actually did a bit of both,
Okay.
which is a pretty common approach with these adaptations.
There.
Got to keep the fans happy with the familiar tunes.
Keeps the people happy.
But also, kind of spice things up for the screen.
Right.
So some of the big hits from the stage version are in there. They've been revamped and kind of polished up for the movie.
Great.
But they also added in some brand new numbers. And there's one that really stands out. It's called What Ifs.
What ifs?
When it really dives into Caddy's inner struggles, all the insecurities and doubts she's dealing with.
Wow.
It's not just some, like, catchy pop song thrown in there for fun.
Sure.
It actually adds a whole new dimension to her character.
I like that. I like when the music actually does that. It, like, enhances the...
Yeah, when it's not just, like, background noise.
It enhances the character. Yeah.
It's part of the storytelling.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very intrigued. I like it when they do that. Now, we've seen other musicals that have been adapted to film, and sometimes they get the music just so right.
Oh, absolutely.
And then sometimes, well,
Sometimes they miss the mark.
they miss the mark.
It happens. I mean, we all remember Cats, right?
Oof. Okay, let's not even open that can of worms.
We've all blocked it from our memory.
We tried.
But, okay, so back to Mean Girls. It sounds like they're doing some interesting things with the music, but are there any bumps in the road? Did they completely nail the adaptation? What does the review say?
Well, not everything is perfect, right?
True, true. There's got to be some drama somewhere.
That's the high school way.
Exactly.
The review did mention that some of the musical numbers they included, they feel kind of chopped up, or maybe even a little out of place.
Like they didn't quite fit.
Yeah, compared to how they were in the stage version.
I see.
And I get it. They probably wanted to kind of like squeeze them in there for the fans.
I get it. Fan service is important, but it can backfire sometimes.
Right. But sometimes it ends up messing with the flow.
Yeah, it can feel forced.
Yeah. And then there's this other element that
Go on, spill the tea.
Okay, the fashion.
Ah, yes, the fashion. It's high school. Gotta talk about the clothes.
Gotta talk about the clothes.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so apparently the costumes are stylish. They look great.
That's good, at least.
But they don't really represent what actual high schoolers,
Oh, I see. So it's not realistic.
not really realistic, are wearing these days.
Interesting.
It's almost like they raided Blair Waldorf's closet
Okay, Blair Waldorf. Now we're talking.
from Gossip Girl,
Throwback.
like back in 2007.
That's hilarious. So we're talking like headbands and
Headbands and like,
poofy skirts.
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Lots of pastels.
Yeah, maybe lots of pastels. I don't know. It's just not what teens are wearing today.
Not at all.
It makes you wonder, though, like, does it matter? I mean, are we really watching these high school movies for, like, the fashion inspiration?
Right, because let's be honest, high school fashion is
Sometimes.
not always the most inspiring.
No, it's not always great. Or is it all just part of the fantasy?
It's a good question. I mean, do we hold these movies to like a standard of realism?
Right.
Or do we give them some creative license?
Especially when we're talking about, like, a heightened world, like a musical.
Exactly. It's not real life, it's heightened reality. So, maybe we can let them get away with some fashion faux pas.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
As long as the story is good.
That's true, as long as the songs are good.
And the dancing is on point.
And the dancing is on point. Okay, so final thoughts, big picture.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Did they pull it off? Is this Mean Girls remake a worthy addition to our watch lists?
I think so. I mean, based on the review, it seems like they managed to capture the humor, the heart of the original. They sprinkled in those catchy musical moments, and they even put a fresh spin on those, classic high school struggles we were talking about.
Awesome.
They gave it a little bit of an update.
Okay, so it sounds like if you're a fan of the original, or you just want to see how they like transformed it into a musical on the screen,
Or if you just love musicals in general.
or just love musicals, this could be like right up your alley.
I think it's a fun ride.
Okay, good to know. I'm adding it to my list. You know what? I actually find it really fascinating
What's that?
how different adaptations, like taking it from stage to screen,
Right.
it can actually breathe new life into a story.
Yeah, it's not just about copying and pasting the plot.
No,
It's about reinterpreting it for a whole new medium.
it's like, yeah, giving it a fresh perspective, fresh coat of paint.
Exactly. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Like, when we adapt a story to a new medium,
Yeah.
does that inherently limit its potential?
Mm,
Or does it actually unlock, like, a whole bunch of new possibilities?
that's a really good question.
It's a question with no easy answer. I
Mhm.
mean, think about all the different ways we adapt stories. Books to movies, video games, even theme park rides. Sometimes it works brilliantly, sometimes it's a total disaster.
Right.
And it's always fascinating to dissect why that is.
That is a really interesting thing to think about.
Lots to ponder.
Yeah, so that's something for all of you out there, listening along.
Yeah, our amazing listeners.
Give that some thought.
Put those thinking caps on.
Maybe give us your opinions
Yeah, let us know what you think.
on social media or something.
We're always up for a good discussion.
Right. And hey, if you guys want to see what other people are saying about this new Mean Girls movie musical,
Oh yeah, get some more perspectives.
or you just want to dive deeper into like the world of movies in general,
The cinematic universe, it's vast.
go check out the MovieKaTicket Films Review app
It's a great resource.
or their website. It's MovieKaTicket.com.
They've got reviews, trailers, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, go check that out. Happy watching, everyone.
Enjoy the show.